I've looked at as many reliable sources as I can since the market opened yesterday to get a sense of whether or not this is the real thing. Could this be the point at which we enter the final stage of this market cycle, where Bitcoin makes its final parabolic run, Ethereum emerges, altcoins like XRP follow, and so on? And what I keep seeing is a broad expectation from many chart analysts with excellent records that in fact many analysts firmly believe that market participants were waiting to hear Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech yesterday morning, which set the market on fire in a positive way. Additionally, there is a general anticipation that the Fed would lower the federal funds rate in a series of steps. Many analysts predict that the initial cut will be 25 basis points, followed by another 25 basis points, for a total drop of 0.75% before they may halt that trend. The market desires that.
That is definitely what the market desires. You witnessed what transpired, didn't you? The S&P 500 reached a new all-time high yesterday as a result of this news. After hearing this news yesterday, the Dow Jones reached a new all-time high. Same story with the Nasdaq 100, which reached a new all-time high. In actuality, the Russell 2000's breakout yesterday is the most significant development. It was up about 3.84%, which isn't a new high, but it was the largest gainer of all of the indexes I just mentioned. And that is very important because it indicates that market participants have a greater appetite for risk. The same folks who are investing in cryptocurrency are also market participants who have a greater appetite for equities as a result of moving further out on the risk curve into small caps. The DNA is identical, and the humans are the same. You are therefore more vulnerable to cryptocurrency risk if you own both asset classes. That has been the case historically. This is the reason it's such a huge deal. Ethereum then reached a new all-time high yesterday, and it is currently trading just below that. However, in the past, it has established a vault season.
Are all these things visible to you? By the way, a Binance currency gives us a new all-time high. This market, I'm telling you people, it's so evident. I'm going to offer the opinions of several XRP chart analysts, one of whom believes that it's quite likely that we'll see $13 in the near future, because it is so well positioned for a sustained run. We can also arrive there really quickly. Things move swiftly when the market reaches the later phases. Therefore, it is not irrational to assume that XRP will reach $13 sooner rather than later, especially given the historical precedent.
XRP is at $3.03 following a 24-hour decline. Now, it might not be the 24-hour low. In actuality, it remains at $2.78, the 24-hour low. After Bitcoin surged to a little over $117,000 yesterday, he purchased it at $115,347, right before the address by Jerome Powell. Furthermore, he has undoubtedly changed his mind. Right now, I can't recall the proportion. It rose sharply. Now that the Fed will be lowering rates in September, I believe there is an expectation of above 90%. It's interesting how everything actually does, isn't it? When it comes to markets, history tends to rhyme with itself, as I constantly say. Because it's true, that's definitely true, and observe how, as has always happened in the past, everything just so happens to be falling into place. The expensive things you would watch are happening again in the same way. Thus, it's more of a question of how high, and more of a question of when than if. Thus, those are legitimate question marks. However, will it? Son, it is happening now. It is directly before you. Zoom, a chart analyst, posted this last night. Long everything season is here. As anyone who has followed me for a while knows, I hardly ever say anything like this, and it's accurate. To be honest, I've never heard him utter anything like this. However, this is the only occasion in which it is proper to say such a thing. Yes, indeed, it's the lengthy everything season. This has also occurred previously. I mean, in 2017, I experienced my first one. In 2017, there was a little period of time, 30, 60 days, whatever it was, when you couldn't make the incorrect purchase. It would be impossible to lose money in cryptocurrency. There was no way. It was going to rise regardless of what you purchased. Until one day, not too long after that, it was no longer the case, of course. It's going to be enjoyable because that will also occur here. It will be thrilling. Everything will be rising and everyone will feel like a financial genius. But just realize that you are not a financial genius just because the market is booming with excitement. It's fortuitous, It's fantastic for us. It might change your life. However, you should not assume that it will continue to do so indefinitely. This is one of Crypto Michael's posts. In the upcoming weeks, bears will be mercilessly eradicated, he warned. In order to avoid being excluded from the next leg up of the greatest bull run in history, panic sellers will have to purchase back at a higher price. Yes, and that's what always occurs. This is the reason why these intelligent people make their portfolios look cute.
They believe they are more intelligent. Even though I'm just an ordinary guy, I can tell that the market is going to plummet based on what I observed on the charts.
then, they are marginalized. I'm only telling you that the stress isn't worth it. It simply isn't. When it comes to investing in cryptocurrency and the stock market, the best course of action is to buy, have wide exposure, and then do nothing. Yes, exactly. Absolutely nothing. Purchase my course, $100. I literally don't have a course, but I don't have anything to offer you. But I don't have a course because of this. You may become extremely wealthy in cryptocurrency without taking a course. Get a lot of exposure. Pay attention to utility coins. Since the market believes that large caps make the most sense, that is what makes the most sense. They seem to be ranking the items that make the most sense to you, correct? Therefore, in general, those are the coins that have undergone the most testing and are the most reliable. You buy those because, well, the job has already been done for you, and then you wait however long it takes to receive the fortune that will change your life. There you go. It's not rocket science, nor are they rocket scientists. Look at this, please. Another measure that has shown results in the past is what you want. Yes, that will be the case for the entire season. This is the percentage of market capitalization that Bitcoin dominates. This year, we are at a low point. Take a look at this. After years of actually showing up somewhat since 2022, down to 58.43%, it is finally breaking down at the point where, historically speaking, you would hope and expect it would. I mean, how high was Bitcoin only a short while ago? June is here at around 6. It was up almost 66%. It was in the vicinity. It has now dropped to 58.43%. And if history repeats itself, this will simply keep falling like a rock and all coins will disappear. Therefore, we would like to see that continue. I'm not telling you this as if I knew exactly what's going on. What I'm suggesting is based on historical precedents, and it would be strange to believe that a different conclusion is more likely when everything is aligning in the same way. Present that argument. I don't think that makes much sense. Therefore, I'd enjoy hearing it. This is an altcoin vector post. The graphic is for ETH USD. 197 weeks have passed since Ethereum's record-breaking peak in November 2021, and they wrote this yesterday, early in the evening. With Ethereum driving rotation and torque for alts, the cryptocurrency has finally reached a new all-time high after more than 1,380 days. The alts liftoff will begin when the impulse consolidates above the all-time high.
According to this trustworthy on-chain analytics company, you should keep an eye on Ethereum when this occurs because it signals the start of alt season. XRP is included in that. I keep sharing this with you because of this. This is true. People, it's coming. This is a post from Mustache, a chart analyst that was made only this morning. This is what happened at 5:22 a.m., a little more than an hour and a half ago. This figure, called Total 2, states, and this is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. It's happening, he says. Total 2 will reach a new all-time high as it approaches the end of 4 years of struggle. You all understand what that means, don't you? Altcoin price discovery. It's exactly the same as it was in 2016, 2017, but on a much bigger scale. This is going to be buck crazy, people. If the analysts who predict that this alt season will surpass the last one in importance are right, I won't be shocked. If they are correct, I won't be shocked. The way it's set up, it just seems like it will be a lot larger in scope. And I've seen a lot of well-considered arguments that support that. If that turns out to be the case, I won't be shocked. Furthermore, given how long XRP has been artificially suppressed, it seems impossible that it could be more evident now that it has broken free and is the highest performing coin among the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization since November of last year, following the election. There is no way that could be clearer. This is why you don't play with fire, my friends, also known as leverage, according to this post by chart analyst CW. This was written by him last night. 176,266 dealers were liquidated in the last day. The total amount of liquidations is $748.93 million. People, consider that. You just need to invest enough money to become absurdly wealthy. Broad exposure, however, lasts for a long time, as I mentioned. These folks literally lost everything. As of last evening at 11:44 p.m., there were more than 176,000 people on the planet. He lost everything yesterday when he posted this. Because the thousands of percentage improvements in wealth that can change your life are insufficient. Season it with a little pepper. Oh, I see. Well, you stupid sticks. Have fun with your liquidations. Well earned, to be honest. Well deserved. Why don't we avoid playing with fire? These actions are not required of you. This is a Crypto Wizard post. For the remainder of the video, let's discuss XRP. Doesn't that sound like a smart plan? It seems like a sensible plan to me. XRP closed very bullish, he says. In addition, it was 8:14 p.m. last evening. The most current post regarding XRP is this one. He claims that XRP had an engulfing candle and closed very bullish. The XRP BTC market is poised to go higher. Therefore, more upward momentum is highly probable.
A long will be initiated by a drop to $3.02 or slightly below, followed by a bullish reversal.
I should also mention that he is forecasting double-digit price movement for XRP throughout this market cycle. He is just another analyst, and he has been quite hopeful. That is why I follow him. His accuracy rating is high. This is a post by Ali Martinez, a chart analyst. He posted that the other day, and it's funny how it lined up. It reads, "After perfectly calling the top, the TD sequential flips to buy on XRP. It's amusing since, as you may know, news events are rarely the real reason for market movements. It's like, when markets shift, they'll claim that whatever occurred in that broad area at that time is what caused it to occur, even if the timing isn't accurate. You know, you can see something in this instance. If you're a chart man, you can see things in the charts, and all you need is something to, like, ignite the spark, start the fire efficiently. And that's what we observed yesterday. It was the Powell speech that really kicked it off. But I believe that all of the chart experts here debate, and you could see things in the charts. Thus, actual events are important. This is where they can start things. But you know, if Powell had given us awful news yesterday that the market didn't like, there probably would have been a very big drop. Because markets dislike ambiguity, you would still have witnessed the last push even if the market had somewhat recovered by then. Therefore, the situation where you may see a huge move up or down was produced by ignorance. That was brought on by ignorance. You won't notice that once all the necessary information has been obtained. After the price is set, life continues as usual. Therefore, if there has been an upward trend in global liquidity, then yes, it will follow nevertheless. You simply experience a correction. However, this is a post from CW that's really hopeful because it states that XRP broke out of the short position zone. Just a few hours ago, we mentioned in a different piece that whales are beginning to purchase Bitcoin once more. I won't pull this up full screen. Well, it's kind of interesting. Do you not think? What about that? The wealthiest people in the world, known as the smart money, began purchasing Bitcoin once this news broke. No. Color me shocked. It doesn't surprise me. Egrid Crypto XRP, $3.30 is the target price in this post of mine. Additionally, he only uploaded this morning at 12:11 a.m. According to Central, we have a clear goal, $3.30. Below this threshold, any daily closure is merely noise. When we close above $3.30, that is the true signal. The magic takes place there.
Keep in mind that $2.73 is our macro support level, which is essential to sustaining our upward trend. Let's not lose sight of the goal. He believes that once we reach that level, we might witness something noteworthy. This market cycle is not over. Therefore, in my opinion, it's only a matter of time. However, other analysts believe that getting a little higher is necessary if you want to witness the real fireworks. For example, Dark Defender pointed us that XRP above $3.61 will be extremely volatile. He therefore believes that level, which is just below the all-time high, is pretty important. However, you can then see what Galaxy BTC, for example, has to say. And just a few hours earlier, at 4:41 a.m., he shared this post. This morning Central, about 2.5 hours ago, he stated that the next time we surpass all-time highs, the true XRP bull run would begin. I should also mention that several analysts have identified that as a crucial threshold, and many of them have claimed that as we rise above that, the air is quite thin, at least as of right now. If that's the case, you'll notice some really swift actions after we firmly break through that. And again, it's only a question of time, in my opinion. If the entire market started to move in the direction of XRP, it would be the strangest thing in the world. No, I just will not take part. For the time being, I'm no longer the market's strongest coin. Come on, that is completely nonsensical. This pitch doesn't make any sense at all. You are aware of that. I am aware of that. Therefore, it would not occur if there were a black swan event and markets generally collapsed. A global catastrophe, the stock market collapsing, cryptocurrency collapsing, or anything similar. Beyond that, it's just the thought of that is nearly unimaginable.
After a prolonged period of artificial suppression, XRP stabilized for almost 10 years. For a brief moment, it broke up to a new all-time high of $3.65, and no, I've just finished. I'm done and my name is XRP. Yes, I do not believe so. Huckle. Here, son. I don't think so for a second. According to this article from Crypto Insight UK, Jerome Powell sets off cryptocurrency XRP catalysts, causing an influx of $13 in XRP. Also, his YouTube video was always excellent. If you want all the details of why, watch it. I'll just say this though. There's a chance that XRP will drop to $13 in the near future, but it doesn't mean it will. He thinks XRP may reach $13 in the near future. Additionally, as things move quickly at the end of a market cycle, I plan to create a separate film discussing this subject, and I would really like to take a moment to demonstrate that point. People must be aware of this. I have to be clean. As in, now is the moment to recognize it.
And I would love for more people to have this idea fresh in their minds because, if you're caught off guard, you're not ready and have no time to act. And you're excited and agitated by the absurd amount of money you now possess due to cryptocurrency, which can lead to unintentional mistakes. Suppose that's not what you desire. You will have a negative experience. This is a News BTC article. The perfect triangular pattern for XRP indicates a significant rebound above $3. What comes next? Furthermore, I will not read the article. I just have one thing to say. That comes from an analyst I don't know. It is known as the Signalist. However, it caught my attention because I had heard other experts make the same point. That's why I mention it to you. However, he is pointing out that this chart, which incidentally is only displaying XRP back to the time period approximately 1 month ago when XRP reached its highest position ever at $3.65, he's essentially pointing out that a symmetrical triangle has developed and that your volatility range is getting smaller over time. The argument goes that this son of a bitch will break out before we reach the apex here, and it will do so in a forceful upward direction. That's a point I've heard from several analysts. Steph's Crypto is the first that immediately springs to mind. He essentially it wasn't the same chart, but he had his own version of it emphasizing this, and I believe I highlighted something from him within the previous 2 or 3 days. Look, I'm not cherry-picking facts. I said, yep, won't be surprised if that's the case. Analysts who genuinely believe that XRP would underperform for the duration of this market cycle are hard to come by. I can't locate them. If you've been following for a while, you know that I emphasize posts that even remotely hint at negativity. I have no qualms about doing it. I simply wanted to let you know that I can't find it anymore. All those who made unfavorable predictions about XRP are surely really humiliated today and have likely removed many of their foolish posts on X since they were terribly mistaken. Because they're incorrect and it makes them look foolish, they have ceased using their fat little fingers to type foolish things about XRP online and their stupid little facial holes to utter foolish things about XRP. I would draw attention to it if I could locate it, but I believe that everyone simply knows that the asset class as a whole moves in unison. As part of that, XRP has been artificially suppressed and is now making a big comeback. That's the main idea of what's going on here. Therefore, it is clear that a continuation of the upward trend is more likely than any further short-term declines, which is undoubtedly possible.